Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, and my friends, today we're talking Guilty Gear Strive, and we're talking Faust, and specifically we're talking about the items Faust can toss. Because, well, there's a bunch of them, and it's purely RNG. Who knows which one he's gonna get? Because, well, frankly, I don't, right? So, with this guide, we're gonna go through every single item that's possible he can throw, both so you as a Faust player know what's going on, and you who is fighting a Faust player can know what's going on. Because if you do not know what these items can do, they will wreck your day. Now, once again, Faust's item toss here, quarter circle forward and punch, is purely randomized. You have no control over which item you're gonna get. It just comes out, and that's all there is to it. Now, his command grab can manually inflict the Afro state, as the Afro is one of the items he can randomly toss out here. But otherwise, that's it. You have no control over the items. That one specific move can force the Afro state, but nothing else is guaranteed. And yes, he does have a super here, double quarter circle forward punch, and he'll toss out 4 items. And if you want to burn all your bars, so 100% of your bar, quarter circle forward, quarter circle forward, quarter circle forward punch will burn both your bars here, and he'll toss out 10 items instead. And from there, the screen can just get really crazy. Now, our first item we're going to be talking about is the bomb. So it's just exactly what it looks like, a big old bomb. And one of the classic Faust things is, and this will be the case for quite a few items, is it can be used against you too, because if you're too close to it, it will blow you up just the same as the enemy. Now, on its surface, there's not too much more to it than what it looks like. The bomb comes, and then after a moment here, it will explode and does a decent chunk of damage to you and the enemy if you get caught in the way. But one of the big things here is before it explodes, you can toss it around. Now, not only can you toss it around, in fact, the enemy can toss it around too. And this can lead to a bit of back and forth. So if the enemy knows what's up with this move and they can knock it back at you, you can knock it back at them as well, right? So you can basically play hot potato with the bomb, knocking it back and forth with each other until it finally explodes in someone's face. It's a deadly game, and you don't want to be on the losing end of it, but that is an option. And of course, mind games being what they are, say you know they can't help but smacking the bomb back at you, right? Like, their brain just won't let them not hit it back at you. They think they're going to get the big one up on you, right? And honestly, at that point, let them. You know they're going to go for it. Just crank them on the head with one of Faust's many long-range moves, and you can punish them for attempting to hit the button to knock it back at you. Now, it may explode in your face too. You got to get out of the way, but that's the nature of the move. So with the bomb, it's deadly both ways. You got to watch out, because it can ruin your day. Faust's next item is the weight. And, well, when it hits the ground, you better watch out, because it'll create a giant shockwave. Now, even if you were to block this move, like the enemy is set to block currently, it will still force a block situation here and a little bit of a guard breaker. Like, it'll put you back significantly, like a lot more than just a bit of a regular move, and causes a different blocking animation as well. Now, in and of itself, the shockwave doesn't do any damage, although it will knock both players down if they're on the ground. Although you can be in the air and not get knocked down. And also, if your timing is decent, you can just backdash it, as you can see here, right? So it won't touch you if you're backdashing it or jumping it. If the weight itself actually hits the enemy on the way down, that will do damage though. So it'll still knock you down even if it hits the enemy, as you can see here. But if it physically contacts the enemy, there will be damage dealt. This is one of the harder moves to plan around because it just does its thing immediately. And either you take advantage of it on the way up, hopefully by jumping so you don't got to deal with the shockwave, right? Or just get cranked by it, and that's all she wrote. Next item is the Humble Donut. And the donut does one thing and one thing only. It heals whoever picks it up. So say the Enobot here, they're going to beat in our head a little bit. And now with that all said and done here, we're going to toss our donut. And when you know it, the refreshing properties of the donut will heal a little bit of our health. It's only a little bit of our health, but also keep in mind it doesn't discriminate. So it's whoever gets it gets the bonus. So if the enemy gets it, they will get the health. So the big thing is this simply. The donut being on the screen, both players will want the donut. So you can be pretty assured the enemy is going to try to charge for it. And when they're charging for it, well then, bonk them on the head. Hit them with either a move that will do more damage than they gain with the donut anyways, or prevent them from getting it in time, and just with various pokes, because once again, Faust, if you're not aware, has a lot of options that control a lot of the screen. Now, our next item is the banana. Now, the banana is a lot like the donut. Whoever gets it gets healed. However, it does leave a banana peel behind, and, well, banana peels being banana peels, they will trip up whoever gets hit by it. Now, the thing is here, you can indeed block the banana peel just by holding back, right? And the other thing to note here is it'll always go behind wherever the banana was originally picked up by. But banana peels is basically just a stage hazard at that point, because you really got to pay attention, because you don't want to be the guy that gets whoopsied, and you can be hit out of that state and comboed as well. Now the Afro state. So this is very unique. I guess you can consider it a bit of a debuff. So the Afro will land on the ground, and whoever touches the Afro, you or the enemy character, will get it. And it's something, while it looks cool, it's not necessarily something you actually want to get on you, as it will make your life quite a bit harder. And also, just so you know, yes, the Afro state can be manually applied with Faust command grab. So that's another thing to note. So what happens here when the Afro is on your head? Well, once again, it makes your life harder, because that Afro becomes part of your hurt box. So I can hit you in the Afro. So say here I do jump up slash. I can't hit Ino. Like, it's clearly going through her, but I can't hit her. That's just how the hitbox hurt box works. But if she were to have the Afro on her, then all of a sudden, I totally can hit her, because that giant hairstyle is all one big hittable box, and she's effectively much taller now than she ever was before. So what does this mean? Well, in essence, you can create some 50-50s. Like, I go close slash and then down heavy slash, so that's a medium into a low. But if I were to jump cancel my close slash into jump slash, well, I'm not hitting nothing, right? But if the Afro was on Ino, well then, all of a sudden, that becomes a natural 2-hit combo. And now you got to worry about guessing low and guessing overhead. And that's far from the only thing. So Faust has a couple moves that have the fire property. His jumping dust, his bomb bag projectile, they both have the fire property. And that Afro, there ain't no warranty on this bad boy, because it is very flammable. Now you might have noticed here, even though that was only a single hit, that indeed said that was a 2-hit combo, because any move that has the fire property will basically cause the Afro to explode. And not only explode, it'll launch the enemy and you can get combos from it. So yeah, nice little chunk of change for that, eh? And once again, that is anything that causes fire. And a couple of the items, like the meteors as well, cause the fire state as well. Now, even more distressing for the enemy. What if they block, right? Well, they're not out of dodge, because yes, you can block the move, but the Afro's still on fire, and then it'll explode several seconds later. So if you happen to be not blocking while it's actively on fire, the explosion will launch you up again. So even if you're out of immediate danger, if you're trying to take your turn back or something, the thing will explode. It is a ticking time bomb, and you could get your hair exploding in your face, and then Faust can still combo out on you. So all in all, between explosions, delayed explosions if you block, the threat of now you have to worry about overhead and low non-stop, because that is a real thing that will be coming your way, and the fact that he can apply it through a command grab, so he'll get this pretty often. The Afro state, while comical looking, is definitely something you gotta watch out about. Also, the Afro state will apply through things like super moves. So say if you and the enemy both have an Afro, and then I go for my super, well, watch the show, I guess, because you both got the Afro going on. Next up is the Meteor. And frankly, the Meteor all things being equal, is the best option. Like, if you could choose, the Meteor is the one you would always want, right? It's just a massive screen-covering fireball. There is absolutely no downside. There's only upside. It is amazing. The one thing is, generally, it would seem it's weighted a little bit less than some of the other items, in that the move is simply rarer than everything else. But, you know, RNG being RNG, it is what it is. But you will always be happy to see the Meteor on the screen. Always, always, always. Just the Meteor, it's a happy place to be, to say the least. This is your best friend and the ultimate item toss. Next up, we have the Mini Faust, our little buddy. Look at him. He just kind of goes until he touches the enemy, and then he kind of loses his crap. And if the enemy is not there, he'll just kind of patrol the stage, as you can see here. He'll try his best to kind of home in on the enemy, but yeah, once he touches the enemy, then he loses his crap and he becomes a active hitbox, and he persists for quite a while, as you can see here, right? Now, the hit itself is not that big of a deal. Like, as you can see, it doesn't even really do that much damage, right? But the big thing is, once he's roaring mad here, he's going to back you up. Like, if you get hit, it doesn't matter. He's still going to do his thing, right? So, say the moves like the Scarecrow teleports. He can make these usually unsafe moves pretty safe, because, you know, the enemy can't really hit a button or challenge you, because the little Mini Faust, he's going to do his thing. And better yet, when you do it, he can combo into it as well. Just the threat of him on screen makes a lot of moves just a lot more valuable. Also, you can manually set him off by hitting him with the bag bomb and stuff like that. Certain things will set him off prematurely. But otherwise, he's just a very active threat on screen, and he can just be annoying to deal with. He's always going to be a guy you're going to be happy to see. You'll never be sad if Mini Faust shows up. Now, the Trumpet. So the Trumpet is a divisive item. When you pick up the Trumpet, whoever picks up the Trumpet, you get a little army of Mini Fausts, and they just charge across the screen. Giant active hitbox, like, what's not to love, right? But the thing is, just like a lot of the items, the enemy can pick it up as well. If they pick it up, it is their little army of Mini Fausts coming your way. One thing about the item is the toss is quite a bit higher up than some of the other items. And it takes a little bit longer to reach where it's going. And it seems, all things being equal, to reach a bit closer to the enemy than you, right? So all things being equal, it's a little bit easier for them to get it than it is for you to get it. Whoever get it definitely owns the screen for the next couple of seconds, right? So it's a very powerful move, but this move, perhaps more than any other move that both you and the enemy can share the item, this is going to be the one that causes the scramble, because it is an incredibly powerful move, but it's only powerful to the person who picks it up, and it might not be you as the one who picked it up. And the final item Faust has is the hammer. And the hammer's pretty handy. So, like you would expect, the hammer hits the enemy, bonks him on the skull pretty good, and actually does a decent chunk of damage for what it is. And the hammer does bounce on the ground, and when it bounces, the bounce still can count as a hitbox, and it will still hit the enemy. So for what it is, it's just a decent offensive pressure tool. If you see the hammer go up, you can pretty safely pressure after the fact, because even if it whiffs initially, don't worry, the bounce will come and hit the enemy. It's really not more complex than that, but considering it's just a hammer, and you hammer people in the head with it, I guess it doesn't really need to be more complex than that. And that is all the items Faust has that he can toss out. A big part of the game plan is simply tossing the items, and yeah, it's random, but harnessing the randomness is the whole game plan. You get to see what the item is on the way up, and then you have to react accordingly. And generally speaking, if you react accordingly better than the enemy does, you will be the one to truly reap the benefit from it. And then it'll be your advantage. And there is indeed some little tricks, like we talked about the Trumpet here, since it tosses it a little closer to the enemy versus you. One of the things you can do is, if you know the Trumpet's being tossed, you see going up on the way up, and yes, there's a little bit of delay going down. Oh, okay, Trumpet, I'll do quarter circle back and punch Scarecrow, and it'll basically put me exactly where the Trumpet will be, as you can see there. And yeah, the move is not safe on block, but as soon as you get the trumpet, the little mini Faust, they have to come out even if you get hit. It won't be stopped. So if someone tries to punish you, that can punish them right back. Like say you see the Meteor go up, right? Well then at that point, do whatever you want, right? Other than potentially getting command grabbed while you're charging at somebody, the enemy just has to respect it, because if they dare hit a button, they're gonna get crushed. And frankly, that's just the item game, right? You just gotta play around everything you see, everything you get, and just work from there. Be it, you know, ping-ponging bombs back, messing around with Afro states, all that. That's just how it is. You have to split-second decision, see what you got, and then base your game plan around that for the next couple seconds. And my friends, that is the guide for Faust items in Guilty Gear Strive. That all said, that's the end of the video, so thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Guilty Gear.
This is the love making.